Probably important to note that the most of them are for 3 years, but the one for Hillside is for 1. All in favour? Councillor Flynn? Can you hear us? Or?
Surprised, didn't you?
We are at item 10, the informational correspondence. Councillor Itzan.
Thank you, Your Worship. We bring up item 16, the letter from Ida Chong regarding infrastructure grants. Just wanted to note for the gallery and the press that we've been approved for those 2 grants for sewage collection system and wastewater treatment of the industrial park, and I'm just wondering if staff can elaborate on when those studies will occur with sort of what the long-term plan, and hopefully those studies will clarify for the city.
Your Worship, the 2 studies will begin as soon as we establish the final budget, the amended budget. We'll put the projects in the 2007 budget, and likely it'll take 2 to 3 months to complete the studies, and we'll have a report in February, March, and the studies will look at the sanitary sewer in the Salmon Arm Industrial Park, and then look at the methods of wastewater treatment and decide whether we should have a separate wastewater treatment in that area or whether we should pump the sewage back to our existing plant.
Thank you.
I wanted to bring up item number 4. We have a letter from the Salmon Arm Blues concerning their annual silent auction, and I believe in that letter there's a request that we make a donation, possibly in the form of a desk. I thought that was a good idea, and I'd be looking for a motion moved by Councillor Kent or Elias. Are we doing that so fast? Is that?
Yeah, let's do.
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
2-6.
Did.
Yeah, that's fine.
Discussion on that? All in favor? Councillor Kent.
Okay.
You're up.
I just wondered, I was kind of curious how Ida Chong's ministry, when she's responsible for seniors and women's issues, not that I'm not in favor of getting that infrastructure grant, but for in the industrial park, that's kind of a stretch, isn't it? How did we get that? It's still.
Director of Engineering.
Your Worship, I do believe it's part of the community services budget.
Oh, so she's not seniors and women's, as it says here.
She's both.
Oh.
Okay, all right, because I just, okay, that's fine.
Councillor Elias.
I've highlighted for
Sorry.
part for the last one first.
Yeah, very busy lady. She seems to have quite a few titles.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's a good point that Councillor Kentel brought up, that community services is responsible for seniors and women's issues and letters. And at the same time, I'd like to bring up number 5 because I do well. Roots and Blues Festival is looking for obviously financial contributions to the community. Last year, we gave them money and helped them provide underground sprinkling and water services for their site. At the recent, from now on, grant applications are going to be looked. The big thing on grant applications will be green infrastructure and green building and sustainability, because to meet the 2020 challenge of Gordon Campbell. So I think when we look at something like this in number 5, the Roots and Blues Festival is looking for our cooperation capital grants, because we don't give necessarily operating grants, that we should look at something like the last part of the second last paragraph, where it's installing lighting and safety and security measures as well as a deterrent to vandalism. If we take something like that and do a solar lighting system, for example, and then we leverage that with Minister Chong for the seniors community, and we look at something like a lit infrastructure, paved active paths that the community, the seniors group in that area brought to us last year for Blackburn Park, then we can leverage infrastructure and leverage grants for not only sustainability but also community involvement in activities to make that park more useful and more people friendly. So I think that's the kind of thing that we should look at when we're going to do grants, that we can access a couple grants for different members of our community to enhance that park. So I don't think there's a motion there, but I think that would be a great idea for our city to take on as a task.
The Director of Corporate Services could correct me if I'm wrong, but in the past it has also been suggested to tie the grant improvement of some sort, but the Roots and Blues organizations have requested that we not do that, and to leave it to their discretion in order for them to more easily obtain other grants. I'm not sure exactly the technical. They were not in favor of that.
They actually weren't in favor of us tying it to a specific project. They said if we could leave it, it's okay to tie it to capital, but let them decide what capital project was their priority. And this letter will automatically be forwarded to the 08 budget process.
Mm-hmm. And what I'm saying is if the Roots and Blues Society, if we met with them and said, how much money would you need to leverage this, and we can apply on behalf of them to access. I mean, there's a lot of grants that we don't access, and we can talk about that. But I think it's important that we look when we do something like this. If we're doing something like lighting, that we look for something sustainable that we can get free money for, and at the same time we can look to another ministry work on the other end. And so the city's commitment is very little, and we access as many grants and service as many people as possible.
Thank you, Councillor Itzan.
Thank you, Your Worship. And on that note of sort of environmental tie-in, I want to bring up item 18, BC Hydro's letter regarding its Turn It Off challenge, and asking Salmon Arm to consider participating in its phase 2. I think the really good value here is that, as it states in the third paragraph, the municipality that signs up the greatest percentage of BC Hydro account holders by December 15th will win province-wide recognition of $2,000 Power Smart retrofit of a municipality. And we believe this is an exciting opportunity for the City of Salmon Arm. I would hope that, and I will put forward a motion that we officially participate in the Turn It Off challenge and take advantage of this opportunity.
Seconded. Seconded by Councillor Itzan.
Or Councillor Flash.
Any discussion on this? Councillor Fang.
Thank you, Your Worship. I too feel that we should see what we can do to participate in this and hopefully win it, but I think it might make a lot of sense to work with the school district on this initiative through the schools and see if we can get some kind of correspondence going home from the schools to citizens through their children and get the children involved in conservation and energy conservation. So I'd like to see if we could talk to the school board and discuss this at their next board meeting to see if we can get some support through that, or even if Councillor Harrison will get involved just at his school.
Councillor Kendall.
I was listening to some of this on TV one night. Some cities are timers on lighting, street lighting, and I don't know, how much that involves, but it certainly wouldn't be short term. But I thought, what a good idea to, because traffic is so little after 10 o'clock on most nights, and it would be really quite helpful, I would think. But I suppose it's a big cost doing that. I was just looking at our director, somebody here.
Your Worship, I have been something like a same program.
Uh-huh.
I think it's $100. But it would become a very expensive program.
Yeah,
But it's something we will certainly look into.
for new lighting, perhaps.
Councillor Harrison.
Thank you, Worship. First of all, I think it's a great idea, and Councillor Flynn's suggestion about involving schools is also a very good one, because presently many schools like my own are really looking at environmental issues. So that would fit nicely. The thing about these things, though, is that it's really easy for us all to say, let's do it, but someone's got to do it. Right? And I'll let Councillor Itzan, because it was his really good idea, he might head this up. Because if someone doesn't head it up, then much happens.
Considering my daughter in school, I'm fine.